Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing the third problem in income from business and profession. So let us just first discuss the problem. Problem number 3. Following is the profit and loss account of Mr. Ghanshyam Mahajan for the year ended 31st March 2011. The profit and loss account is given. On the credit side of the profit and loss account, we can see gross profit, rent from house property, interest on fixed deposits. On the debit side, we can see gift to the customer, salaries, bank charges, telephone expenses, motor car expenses, insurance, income tax penalty, bad debts, interest on housing loan, banking cash transaction tax, wealth tax, office expenses, and net profit. In other information, certain additional information relating to the problems is given. Salaries include rupees 4,000 in respect of salary to the home servant. Telephone is equally used for private and business purposes. Insurance includes 2,000 for house insurance, 3,000 for life insurance, and balance for stock insurance. Motor car is equally used for private and business purposes. However, Income Tax Authority is of opinion that 60% of motor car is used for business. Compute the income taxable under the head Profit and Gains from Business or Profession of Mr. Mahajan for the previous year 2010-2011. Now, before we go on solving this problem, as always, let us first mark out the adjustments. Salaries include 4,000 in respect of salaries to home servant. So I will highlight salaries. Telephone expenses will be the second item to highlight. Insurance will be the next item. And motor car will also be highlighted. Motor car expenses. Now let us begin solving the problem. Again, we will make a format for the current problem. The format has been made. I will write down the name of the person, Mr. Ghanshyam Mahajan. So here I will be writing income from business of Mr. Ghanshyam Mahajan. We will start with net profit as per profit and loss account. Refer to the problem. Net profit is given at 1,87,300. So I will write 1,87,300 as net profit. After that, we will start from the credit side of profit and loss account. The first item besides gross profit which is appearing is the rent from house property. Rent from house property is not an income from business and profession, and hence rent received from the house property will be deducted from the net profit. So in the less side, rent from house property 45,000. Next comes interest on FDR. Again, interest on FDR is also an income from other sources, and it is not treated as income from business and profession, so we will be deducting it from our problem. Interest FDR 4,000 rupees. After that, let us come to the debit side of the profit and loss account. Gifts given to the customer. Now, many a time it happens that a businessman gives certain gifts to their customers, especially during the seasons like Diwali festivals and other such festive seasons. So, gifts given to the customers are considered to be a business expenditure, and hence they will be fully allowable. They cannot be added back. Next comes salaries. Salaries are treated as business expenditure. However, in additional information, we have been provided that salaries include rupees 4,000 in respect of salary paid to home servant. It cannot be treated as a business expenditure, so we will be adding that particular 4,000 rupees back to this profit. So here I will add back salary paid to home servant 4,000 in a column. Next, bank charges. Bank charges are expenses relating to business and hence fully allowed as deduction. Telephone expenses. Here it has been given that telephone is used for personal as well as for business purposes. So that portion of the telephone expenses which is used for personal purposes will be added back. In the additional information, it has been given that telephone is equally used for private and business purposes. Hence, we will assume that 50% of telephone expenses, that is 50% of 15,000, which comes to near about 7,500 rupees, will be treated as personal expenses, and that 7,500 rupees will be added back. It has been given that telephone expenses is equally used, hence 15,000 divided by 2, 7,500 will be the amount which is used for private purposes, and another 7,500 is the amount which is used for business purposes. So I'll be adding back telephone used for private purposes, 15,000 divided by 2 gets 7,500 rupees. Then comes the motor car expenses. Motor car is also given that we are using it equally for private and business purposes. However, the income tax authorities have an opinion that 60% of motor car is used for business and 40% is used for personal purposes. So whenever we find two statements in income tax problem, one a statement of SSE and another a statement of income tax authorities, we should always take the statement which has been given by income tax authorities. Here, income tax authorities are of opinion that 60% of motor car is used for business and 40% is used for personal purposes. So 40% of the total motor car expenses will be added back as they are personal expenses. So motor car expenses 40% of 22,000. Let us just calculate 22,000 multiplied by 40%. It comes around 8,800 rupees. Next, insurance. Now, insurance can be of anything. The nature of the insurance will decide whether it is a business expenditure or not. If you have taken insurance of your factory building or your office, then it will be treated as business expenditure. However, if an insurance is taken on your personal life or your personal home, then that insurance will not be treated as business expenditure. It will be treated as personal expenditure. In the problem, it is given that the insurance expenditure is of 10,000 rupees. Out of the 10,000, 2,000 is for house insurance, 3,000 is for life insurance, and balance is for stock insurance. So, according to Income Tax Act, only the stock insurance which relates to business of the SSE will be allowed as a deduction, and the remaining amount of 2,000 for house insurance and 3,000 for life insurance will have to be added back as it is a disallowable expenditure. So we will add back those expenses. Insurance expenditure for house and life insurance, 5,000 rupees will be added back. 2,000 for house insurance, 2,000 for house insurance and 3,000 for life insurance. Total 5,000 will be added back because this 5,000 does not relate to business expenses. Next comes income tax penalty. Income tax penalty is not a business expenditure. It is a penalty which we are paying for not following the rules of the income tax. It will be added back. Income tax penalty is not a business expenditure. Income tax penalty 12,000. Bad debts. Bad debts are a business expenditure and they will be allowed as deduction. Interest on housing loan. Interest paid on the housing loan taken is not an expenditure relating to business and it shall be added back. Interest on housing loan amount is 2,000 rupees. 2,000. Then comes banking cash transaction tax. Banking cash transaction tax is a type of tax which is paid on banking transactions and it is allowed as a deduction because it is a business expenditure. So no adjustment for banking cash transaction tax. Then comes wealth tax. Wealth tax will not be allowed. Any type of tax, any type of direct taxes like income tax and wealth tax will not be allowed as a deduction. So I'll add back wealth tax 2,000 rupees. Then we get office expenses 12,650. Office expenses are relating to business and they are a business expenditures, hence they will be allowed as a deduction. So we will not make any entry relating to office expenses. Now we have come to the end of our profit and loss account. Just take a look. We have covered entire credit side and entire debit side. And all the adjustments have also been covered. So we take a look at our problem and make the totals. The totals on the addition side come to 41,300. The total of the deduction side comes to 49,000. So from our opening net profit of 1,87,300, we will add 41,300 to the above figure and we will deduct 49,000 from the above figure, and the final answer, that is 1,87,300 plus 41,300 minus 49,000, we will get 1,79,600, and this is the profit of Mr. Mahajan as per the Income Tax Act. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.